What is going on, guys? I am Samuel and welcome back to Louisiana. Almost a year ago, last summer, I filmed a video replying to my best comments. I pulled out my best comments and I directly answered them, and I said in that video that if you guys give me a lot more comments, then we will bring it back. And that is what we're doing today. Y'all pulled through. I've got a bunch more comments, and today we're gonna be going back and replying to the best comments that I've gotten in about the past year since I filmed that last video. And I'm gonna start with the oldest comments and we're gonna work our way to the most recent ones. In this video, I posted about getting my grandma out of the house when she had sprained her ankle. We had to get her to a doctor's appointment. She was in a wheelchair, so we just made this really quick wheelchair ramp. We had the supplies for it. We only needed to get her to a few doctor's appointments. So after about a week, we went ahead and took it down. Like, it was not a permanent thing. It was just a temporary fix to get her out of the house in her wheelchair. So it was not built with the most perfect specifications. It was not built to be super permanent. It just was strong enough and it worked. And I made a YouTube video out of it a long time ago, and I still get comments on this thing. I think it's my most viewed video ever, nearly 90,000 views. And someone comments on it and says, fail, LOL. Here's the thing, that ramp was not a fail. It did its job, and then we took it down and it was done. And a lot of people still comment about it like, oh, it wasn't up to spec, or she couldn't roll herself up it in the wheelchair. And that's true. If we were making like a great wheelchair ramp, it would have been very different. But for the purpose of the ramp, it 100% succeeded. And then in a video where I tested my cat's intelligence, I did find out he actually had some in his head. I gave him a bunch of intelligence tests, and I had to wake him up from his nap and disturb his coziness and bring him to do some cat tests. Someone comments and says, good job, James. It's not easy to be bothered all day by your owner, but you still pulled through on a couple tests. It is so true. My poor cat James gets bothered by me all the time. I've put tape on his paws to make him dance. I've tried to scare him with a cucumber. That one actually didn't work. I give him intelligence tests. James is just always getting pestered by me. I promise he does get plenty of time to sleep. He's well fed, well rested. He's very happy. If nothing exciting's happening, I just have to go get James and see if he'll do anything to entertain me. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. You never know with James. Oh, this is a good one. So I was at a bike park and I decided to attempt, I took the brakes off of my mountain bike on a downhill mountain bike trail, and I rode it completely brakeless. Like, the brake levers were not even on the handlebars, so I had no choice but to commit to being brakeless. And someone comments on that and says, emergency stopping with no brakes. Interesting. Can you do that going down a steep hill? I'd say 80 miles an hour. I'm not suggesting you try, by the way. I mean, we'd like to see you do more videos. So 80 miles an hour is a bit of a stretch. I think you exaggerated here, but we could certainly try going down a hill really fast on a bike and show that it is possible to safely stop. After all, I ride BMX completely brakeless. There's no brakes on the bike at all. I ride my hardtail mountain bike with only one rear brake, and then of course for this I took the brakes entirely off my downhill mountain bike and still rode a trail. You can safely ride a bike with no brake, and stopping it is very intuitive. Like, you just either put your feet on the ground and keep adding pressure till you slow down. You put your foot in your rear tire and put a lot of friction on it that way, but that does kind of wear your tread down fast, and it can wear holes in your shoes. It's not risky, and you can also just control the bike to actually, you know, scrub your speed off. So it's not risky. It sounds kind of dangerous, but we could certainly do a video about that. In fact, I might make that happen. So keep your eyes peeled for a how to stop your bike without brakes video from Louisiana Samuel. She's in the list right now. Ooh, earlier this year, I had a crazy thing happen on my mountain bike. I was doing a 360 on my dirt jump and I over-rotated. And I landed really sideways because I over-rotated. And that sideways pressure kind of knocked my tire off the rim. And then with that little bead that popped off, the tube inside the tire could start expanding out of that crack. And it was just slowly expanding, and then expanded enough to where there was no pressure holding it on, and it just exploded when all of its pressure was released, which was crazy. I caught it all on video. It was one of the weirdest things I've ever had happen on a bike. And someone comments on the video and says, I literally said, ooh, dude, that spin was fire. Thank you. It felt crazy to over-rotate. I was surprised I even held onto the landing, and then when the wheel blew up, it was wild. And then I get a comment from also someone else named Sam, and they say, what happened? How come it blew up? I would have thought it would have deflated. Can someone explain? I just happen to have one of these sitting here. So this is your rim right here, and then your tire goes around the rim, and there's a tube inside of this tire. This tire on the outside is really strong. It's really thick rubber, and that's what's actually holding most of the pressure in the tube. The tube doesn't really have enough strength to hold, you know, 60, 70 PSI, however many I had in it, just by itself. So if this tire like pops off of the rim and that tube can start coming out, now the rubber of the tube is what's responsible for holding all the pressure inside of it. And if enough of the rubber slips out and isn't being held by this tire, then it's not strong enough to hold the pressure within it. So you've got about, you know, 60, 70 PSI just floating through rubber, and it blows up instead of a slow leak. There is one place in Louisiana that is higher than all of the rest. It's not a mountain. Being the highest place in Louisiana, we kind of call it a mountain. It's the closest thing we've got. It's called Mount Driscoll. I've climbed it 2 or 3 times. I've even climbed it in the rain. It's a cool spot. And I get a comment that's very, very true saying a mountain in Louisiana is a hill in most other places. Much love from Nola. Yes, it kind of pains me to say, but our best answer to a mountain in Louisiana is just, it's like a little undulation in the ground. It's barely a little hill. When you stand on it, it feels pretty cool. You do feel like you're higher than all the rest of Louisiana because everything else is just so flat. But in relation to everything else, it's absolutely nothing. And Mount Driscoll is only about 535 feet. And I don't know, let's see what height mountains start being measured at. Oh, and a mountain, the definition of a mountain is got to be 1,000 feet above the surrounding area. And I don't even remember if the height for Mount Driscoll at 535 feet, if that's measured above sea level or above the surrounding area. Either way, it's still really, really short of being close to a mountain. So no mountains in Louisiana. Moving on, another popular video that I filmed was comparing a gorilla pod to a mantis pod. Now, if you don't know what these are, they're both little travel tripods. One of them has flexible little feet on it. One of them is pretty rigid. And someone comments, now don't let me misinterpret your comment, but it says, yeah, let's compare a gorilla pod to a mantis pod. I feel like that was a little bit sarcastic, like they're not two things that you should not compare at all. And in the video, I actually made the claim that the mantis pod was the better of the two. And right now, look at me, I'm actually filming on a gorilla pod. But for my use case, both of these products fill the same spot. They just do it in different ways. So I use both. They each have their own advantages and disadvantages. And I feel like there's enough people out there that also have my same use case for a small tripod that they would want to know the differences, which is why I compared them. They're definitely not the same product, but for me, they fit the same spot. So that's the reason behind that video. If you don't have a reason to watch it, it's just not for you. Now, this is in relation to another camera video that I filmed relatively recently. I had this very antique camera that my grandmother gave me for my graduation last year from high school. I really was not sure exactly what time this camera was from. It's called a Kodak Brownie camera. It shoots on rolls of film. It's obviously not digital, so that's why I had to get film for it. It was really cool. I took a couple photos on it and got those film photos developed. It's the only time I've ever experienced developing film photos, and it was such a unique experience. I've never had that from a camera before, but there were a lot of Kodak Brownie cameras produced over the years, and I was not exactly sure what year my camera was from. So I kind of said it was from 1904, but I was not positive about that. And I get a comment from the Antique Camera channel. How much more legitimate can you get than that? And the comment says, it's actually not from 1904, it's from 1960. Thank you so much for correcting me. I genuinely did not know, and I also did not know enough about Kodak Brownie cameras to be able to identify what year it was from. So I should correct my title. This camera is not 100 years old. Instead, it is only 65 years old, which makes it even more insane that in 65 years, you can go from a cardboard box shooting film to the digital cameras we've got now in my hands that's shooting 4K. It can film slow motion. It can autofocus like crazy. That's just wild that cameras developed that much, that fast. Every year or so, I like to make a trip out to Spider Mountain Bike Park in Texas. There's a chair lift that takes you to the top of this mountain, and then you ride mountain bikes down. It is a blast. When I went there this year, I was doing a big no-hander on one of the jumps, and I had my grandpa set up on the side of the road with my camera, and he filmed it. He got an awesome shot on it, so it kind of changed things up from just the GoPro view. And someone commented saying, great video and best grandpa ever. Fist bump to him for helping get those clean shots. Yes, this comment is the truth. My grandpa is an incredible cameraman. In fact, most of the videos you see of me riding my bike where I'm not holding a camera, he is the guy holding the camera. So now you know my cameraman identity has been revealed. My grandpa is an absolute legend, getting the shots, going to bike parks, even riding his own bike in these bike parks. I did film a short video actually last week where I was trying to do tricks on my bike in the worst shoes that I could think of to ride a bike in. And I had Crocs. They're big and chunky. They're not flat at all on the bottom, and it was just kind of hard to ride the bike in. And people were commenting on the video saying, well, other shoes I should try to do bike tricks in that would not be easy. And someone said flip-flops. Now, yeah, flip-flops would be really bad to ride your bike in, and I'm gonna say it would be too bad because there's zero protection for my toes. Like, if my foot slipped and just got jammed in between the fork and the tire doing a foot jam, all my toenails are just gone. So I'm not gonna go to that extreme level of trying to ride my bike in bad shoes. Flip-flops is a little too hardcore. So I built this backyard spine ramp, and it's the most recent ramp I've built, and when I was riding it, it was just a quick afternoon, and I hopped out on my bike to get some clips done, and someone comments on the video and says, fun video and very good quality. Also, were you wearing teeth whitening strips? So here's the thing. I always ride with a mouth guard in. You only get one set of teeth. I really don't want to bust my teeth out and sustain some mouth damage just from riding my bike. So I've always ridden with a mouth guard. I think I've been riding the same mouth guard since I was 13 or 14 or so. So it's been really aged. It was starting to yellow. And I also got my wisdom teeth out this summer. So it kind of changed my mouth a bit. And the mouth guard was kind of rubbing on that extraction site. So I got a new mouth guard made. I ran down to the dentist office. They took an impression, made a new mouth guard, and it's great. It fits really tight. It protects all my teeth. And because it's brand new, it's really clear. It's really white. But also I think a lot of people just aren't used to seeing bike riders wear a mouth guard because not a lot of people do. And that's not great to me. I think a lot of more people should wear mouth guards than they do. But that is what was in my mouth in the video. It was a brand new, nice, clean mouth guard. I always ride with mouth guard. It protects my teeth and makes me feel safe. We're gonna end that video off there. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching my videos and supporting my channel, leaving comments. They're really awesome. I love engaging with you guys and hearing what you think about my videos. So if you enjoyed this, please leave a like, subscribe to my channel, share this video with your grandmother, go write some comments. I might bring this out for a third time if I get some great ones, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.